Hi, Steven.
Hi, hi, hi.
I hope you are doing great. Okay, so I think you are the only one on the Zoom call right now. So we'll just wait for more people to join.
Sure, sure.
Let's Hi, good afternoon. If you are just joining us, or good evening, depending on your location. So I decided to wait a while for others to join because at the start of the meeting, we had about two persons or just one person. So I decided to give us more time for others to join. So it seems like uh okay, so just to confirm, Steven, please, the Zoom link, was it on your calendar?
Yes, it was on my calendar.
Okay.
Yes, it was on calendar.
Because it looks like some people on Zoom can't find it. Okay, so I think I'll just be sharing my VS Code. So before I do any bit of coding, is there anyone with a question here? Would anyone like to ask a question? Maybe something you're unclear about regarding Django?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay, please.
Uh, I had an issue with, especially with the with the foreign keys.
Okay, is it in the models?
Yes, in the models, because even when after I tried to, after creating the last project, still my lyrics were not displaying on screen, and I bet it was had something to do with the relationship thing. Is it possible for us to, I don't know, is it possible for us to need the relationships, the foreign keys?
Okay, so to understand you better, are you saying that you can't see your data in your admin or something like that? Are you getting any specific error?
Uh, not in the admin.
Okay.
In what was this thing we were doing last, the last project? What was it?
Okay, the APIs.
Yeah. Now I can be able to get it on API. I can be able to get the songs. I can be able to get the artist, but I cannot. My lyrics are not showing.
Your lyrics are not showing. Okay. Are you on your computer?
Yes, let me try and open my
Or you know
VS
what?
Code.
Uh, or you know what? Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Give me a second. Let me share my VS Code. Just give me a second, please. Uh, sorry, I'm still trying to. Sorry, I'm getting some issues. Just bear with me. I'm coming. Okay, so I think I can share my screen now. I believe you can all see my screen, my VS Code. So I believe everyone is also familiar with this project. That is what we have been using for quite a while now. So I think I will just try to demonstrate that using what we have here. So
I don't know whether it is possible for your post to have more than one model, because
yeah, I think I have a foreign key model, which is this.
okay.
Okay, so I think this post, yeah, okay. So let's see if I can just create a simple API for that. Okay, so let me just continue with this function-based API view. So add, get. Let me just copy this. Oh, I forgot to create my serializer, so I might need to do that. So I'm guessing this is where most people are having issues with. Most likely the serializer. So I will just create that now from posts. Import post. Let's use the model serializer. Next class. Let's now I'll mention something regarding this model serializer. and what we are doing regarding this foreign key later on. But let me complete what I am typing. So the post fields equal. I don't think I spelled the fields very well. So let's run our server. We don't have any empty migration. So everything should be working fine. And let's go to our views of UI and finish this API. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. I think we might need to add a push request. So I need to import this post serializer. Okay, I also need to import the post model. So from now we can come to our URL UI and do this. Add. Let's call this post. Okay, so let's see what happens when we go to this route. Let's see if it actually returns all the posts. I'm guessing there should be posts in our database, but I'll check now. So I'll stop share. It looks like I'm sharing just my VS Code. So give me a second. Oh wow, there are questions in the chat. I forgot to check. Okay, I don't think there is any question. Okay, so we have this. I think the route is /API/ oops. So as you can see, we have all our posts. But then if you remember, I mentioned that I would say something about the about our serializers, which is here. Now, if you notice, our Firefly is coming out as IDs. It is not actually returning the name of that particular Firefly. And that is because this is just a reference to a table, to an object in another table. So Django references that particular object with the ID. So we can actually override it, or not override, we can actually change the way Django displays this. Instead of giving us an ID, we can make Django give us the particular name or the particular object itself, the way it can be represented in the API. And we do that by overriding the serializer class we used. So I'll be demonstrating that now. But if you have something like this, it should be displayed like something the way I just replicated this. I don't know if you would have an issue of your foreign key model itself not displaying. So who asked? I think it was Stephen that asked. So what exactly is, I mean, because I think I replicated what you might have done based on what we covered in the API class. So I'm guessing this is what you might have done. So is something different because I can see mine. So what do you think you did wrong, or maybe you did not follow up well, so I can explain better?
Maybe you can, when you get an issue of a foreign key conflicting with an ID, what exactly is the meaning of that?
Is that an error?
That was the error I was getting before, but I was able to sort it out.
I don't know if you can still get the error. So, because I don't think I know the error you're talking about. Like, do you remember the wordings of the error itself?
Yes, when I place the foreign key, it would tell me I cannot be able to the foreign key conflicts with like, for example, with the song ID.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's like the most seen error on Slack by me. So I think I've explained this in one of our classes in models when I was talking about models. You should not have, so I'm guessing this is what you did. Let's say something like this. There is post that has a foreign key relationship. So this post object that has a foreign key relationship to the post model. And let's as I'm just going to assume you have something like this. Sorry.
We can't see your screen. We are seeing on a post.
You can't see my screen.
We can't see your VS Code. We're just seeing the postman.
Oh, really? I believe I shared both. You should be able to see my screen now.
Now we can see the VS Code.
Okay, so I'm guessing you had something like this. But instead of this, you probably had an integer key or something like this. Maybe integer field rather, or something. But you have something like this post and post underscore ID. Let's say something. Let's say yours is artist or song. Then you have song underscore ID. So I'm guessing you have two attributes like this in your models, song and song underscore ID. So I'm guessing this is what you have, and you're getting an error that says you cannot have maybe like a foreign key constraint field or something like that. Now, this is as a result of the fact that Django saves its foreign key with an underscore ID in the database. So, because this is a foreign key, Django knows that it is a reference to another model. It is an object that references another model. So it saves it with an underscore ID, because anytime you are trying to actually call the model, as you can see in our API, okay, yeah, that is a very perfect example. Now, if you notice, our Firefly is returning an ID and not the actual name of the data or the name of whatever we are supposed to have here. And that is because Django stores just ID, since it's a foreign key, stores a reference to, and the foreign key is a reference to another table. Django stores it, just the ID in that particular table. So while naming the column, Django names it with an underscore ID. So Django gives it an underscore ID. So if it is something like this, yeah, Django in the database will give it underscore ID. So now you have song underscore ID, and you still have another attribute that says song underscore ID, which should not happen, obviously. So Django will flag an error that says you have something, you have another attribute which already exists and is already a foreign key. So most times you should consider renaming it or taking it out. So most times when I see this on the Slack channel, I mostly tell people to take the one with underscore ID, because you should not have something like this as an attribute. I know the task specified song underscore ID itself, and that was because I thought people would know that Django saves it with an underscore ID. I think it's a mistake on my part, but it's not. I'm not using it to it's not like it would deduct your mark or what anything, but Django saves it with an underscore ID. So most times when you want to reference a foreign key, you don't use the underscore ID, just call the name of the model itself. So we have posts. So just give it post. So that should explain that error.
That
So
helps a lot. That helps a lot.
Okay. So is there
Thank
anyone with another question? So because today I actually wanted to talk about static. I think that's the only thing I have not touched at all. Static files. So yeah, before I move before someone else asks a question or asks a question, um give me a second. I want to check the YouTube. I have been speaking. I think it's your network. Let me type. I believe everyone can hear me. I think it's from this end. So like I said, I wanted to. Oh, is my audio breaking? Sure, please. Is my audio breaking? Okay. It seems like it's. Um, Stephen, just to be sure, can you hear me clearly? Can everyone hear me clearly?
Very clear on my end.
So it's not from my end. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
it's
can
not
hear
from my end. Okay, because someone pointed out the fact that my audio is breaking, and apparently it's not from my end. Okay. So yeah, so I mentioned that there's actually a way to do this, and I will just show you at least. I remember I once had to specify that too, and I needed a way to do that. So I think the name of our foreign key is Firefly. So I'll just do Firefly equals model serializers rather dot slug related field. Then read only equals true. Um I'm coming. Let me not add the slug field code for now. Let's see what happens when I know that the slug field is required. I know let's do a Firefly. This should work. So I'll reload my server. Okay. So please don't give me an error. Firefly object has no attributes. Firefly. Uh, Post to realize. Uh, the name of the field should be. I think there's a message. Um, Based upon where is the post model. Okay, post message created on the Firefly. Yeah, this should work. Firefly equals like bracket. It should work. I don't know why this is there. Yeah, I know it's this log related to giving me an error right now. So I'm coming. I'll fix that soon. So I'll fix that soon. I'll come back to this. I'll see why, because I don't want to waste time fixing that. So I want to talk about static files. So static files are files that are saved alongside our templates, our HTML files. So static files like CSS, JavaScript, and images. Those are static files in those are like static files. So our fonts, italics and the rest, font icons and the rest. So most times websites generally need to serve these additional files. So in Django, we refer to them as static files. So if you look at the settings.py file, you have a setting here that's that specifies that. So it has a static URL that specifies the paths you should look for, or Django knows to look for in our application. So the same way for templates, when we are working with static files too, we create a folder called static. So I am just going to, so let's decide on a page to style. So should it be this page or should it be the post page? Okay, so let's just start the home page. Let's start this. So I think this is in the Zuri Fly application. I'm just going to come to the Zuri Fly, then create a folder called static. So same thing with the templates. So we have to create another folder with the name of our application. So Zuri Fly. So now I will create a file in Zuri File or a folder called CSS. CSS, then another one called JavaScript, and then another one called, oh no, I think I have to delete this. So JS, and then images. So I'm just going to call design JS. Okay. So in our templates, we have to call or load our static files. So we use the static template tag to build the URL for the given paths. So there's a tag for the static file to load our static file, and I will show you now. So we just call load static in our templates. So we have this template. Where's the template? We have this one. Fly. So I think it's this one. So this is it. So what we do is all we'll do is we would call load static. So here, after the extend, I'll just call load. So this is the tag. Now I'll show you what happens when you try to call a static file without having this tag. But since we are also inheriting from the base.html, in fact, I think that is where we should just use it. I think so. Let's just use the base.html. Let's put it here. So I would love to put it somewhere. Let me put it before this. So let me just do static. So I will show you what will happen if you ever try to call your load your static files that's actually loading the static files. So for now, I will just be creating the file, the CSS file. So let's just call this list image. This file applies the CSS. So like I said in the previous class when we were talking about templates, I will not be going in depth into front end, obviously, because this is a Django course and we are not really doing much of front end. So here I would, how does our page look? Because I have no idea how the page. Okay, so we have a header tag, and then we have some divs that render each firefly. So let's just say h1 color should be, I don't know, gray. My CSS is dead. So let's just see if our, so here I would call the static file. So since, okay, I think there's a message for me. Okay, so someone said I was watching the YouTube live but couldn't comment. Is it possible for you to share the code of your project? I specifically would like to see how you specified your URL patterns, serializers, and your API views. Is it this one we are working on? So if it is this project, then I have no issues. I can just push it to GitHub. But I don't think I did any standard thing here. Most of this was because I was teaching, so I needed to simplify most of the code and so many things here. It's most likely not the way I would write code normally. And also, I also remember I've not talked about class-based views, so I'm looking into that later. Okay, so yeah, I think I can push this. It's not an issue. I would most likely push it. I think I should just push it now. So, but after the slides, it's already linked to a Git repository, I think. So we have to link this to we have to link this to we have to link the CSS file to the HTML file here. And normally, if you are familiar with HTML, you know that you would add a link tag to the head tag or the head elements in your HTML file. But if you notice here, we don't have a head element. We are extending from a base.html file. So what you can do is you can create another link here, and you can call this block. Let's call this thing block style. So this would be a link to our CSS file. So I would come back to the HTML here, and here I can just do block style. So you can specify your block tags however you want, like in whatever order you want. So here I will just call static. So I'll call the link, I'll give it a link. So in this href attribute here, I would call, let me just take out this guy. So call static, then I will link it with the name of the file, and we put the file in zurifly/css. So static zurifly slash css / list underscore fireflies.css. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Let me close all. So this is how it looks. So I would save, okay, it's saved already. Then I'll go to my browser and see if it actually works. So invalid block tag on line 18, something expected an end block. Nothing next. There's not invalid block tag on line 18 static. This is it. Expected an end block. No. I don't think that's it. So static to reply. This is supposed to work. This is actually supposed to work. Let me check the base.html. It's supposed to work. There's an issue. Okay, yes, I need to supposed to work, but I think Basic going to have that error. Let me reload. I still having that error. Invalid block tag on that. This isn't supposed to happen. Oh, I didn't even finish reading the error message. Did you forget to register or load the tag? And that is what we forgot. Sorry. Yeah. So you have to load your static. Yeah, I forgot I got it not copied it out. So yeah, if we reload this will work. So you can see what happens when we forget to impute this load static template tag. We would get that error that says invalid, whatever, did you forget to load your. So I'm just going to check my console, my developer to see if that CSS file is actually working. So I will reload, and you can see CSS list firefly.css is giving a status of 200, which means it's actually working. So if I give this H1 blue, it is not changing color, and that is because I need to empty cache and add reload. So once I do that, everything should work fine now. Okay, so someone said, why didn't I add static file in settings? So I believe you mean static file directory, like static files _dirs in my settings.py file. And that's because I am not specifying a path in my root directory for now. So automatically Django knows to look for the same way with the templates. Django knows to look for your static file in a static folder. So if you go to your settings.py, I think I mentioned it at the start of the class. So settings. If you check here, you have a static URL path that actually specifies the route, or the path rather, that Django should look for in your application. So it looks for this folder called static, and that is what we included here. So static, then we specify the full path //css that's list fireflies.css in our list in our HTML here. So I'm still coming to the parts where I would talk about that. But okay, so this thing didn't change the group. So I'm just going to inspect elements. So you can see that it is here, but invalid property value. Color is a valid property now. Okay, am I the one that don't use CSS? Let me add border 3px solid black or solid red. Okay, so the border is working, but oh, sorry, I forgot I stopped writing. I was not writing Python again. I just noticed now. Okay, so yeah, that is how to serve static files. So if I want to have a static folder at the root directory here, what I will just do is I would create a static folder, and then I'll have my static files here. So I will do static, then okay, let me leave this. So static, let me call this main.css. So this is for the whole body of the or for the general base.html. So for this, then like someone pointed out, I would need to set a static. So the configuration is static static files, I think, underscore DRS equals then the root. So base directory slash static. Now, most times, you can see in documentations or whatever that it is usually in an array like this. And that is because you can specify more than one part for it. Well, let's leave it like this. Let's just leave it like this. So we are not specifying another part. So this should work if I call it in this where is it? Where's the template? So in this page.html, if I call the link here, static, then what's the parts? Main.css. Let's see if this would work. Let's see. I'm guessing we might have an error, but we can never know. So I'm loading static already. We won't get an error. Let's load static here. So instead of me to copy it from the list fireflies.html, then I went to cut it. That was why I was having that error. I thought it was still here. So apparently there was no error. So I would come back to my next work and reload to see if that page actually works. When there's an error, okay, my server has stopped running. Okay, so you can see main.css giving 4 not found. And my likely guess is because it is actually not reading the part correctly, the static part here. It's not reading it correctly. So I'm just going to look at the code very well and see what is missing. So settings.py. Static files on this one. That isn't supposed to give us supposed to load this file. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I know why it is not loading the file. I think I know why. So um let me see dot slash. Um no, you're not supposed to put a dot slash in a Django app. Um, this is why am I getting errors today that I, that's it main.css. Okay, looks like I even abandoned it for a while. Okay. Can you still hear me? Can everyone still hear me? So I'm coming. Let me quickly check the Django documentation for this. I'm most likely missing something. So static files Django. So okay. I don't think this is solve it though, but let's see. That's spell this correctly. Let's see. Okay, I knew why we were. I just said it. I didn't spell my static files correctly. So if you notice, I had static then with a small letter F instead of capital letter F. Yeah, I guess that was why I tried this A equals 1. Because I noticed that this was pink and this was still blue. And I was wondering why. So let's see. Let's see what happens now. Exactly. So we didn't change anything. I knew it was supposed to work. I knew it was supposed to work. So that was the issue. I wrote static underscore static files with a small letter F. Yeah, it's was the issue. So one other thing I already made a mistake somewhere, which is here. So I hope everyone can understand me since I've just been talking to myself for a while. So I'm going to take this out. Now, I once had an issue last year with this, which actually almost became a big issue because the project was due for deployment and for demo. Everything worked fine in development. Like everything was working, the app was ready, good to go. I've tested this like couple of times. I've had calls with people and we've tested it and it was working good. Only for me to deploy it, and I was getting an error that says internal server error on Heroku. And that was because it was supposed to be demoed, I think um the day after or something like that. And the issue was because I had a dot slash in all my HTML files, not my templates, when referencing static files. Now, in the HTML world, this is not bad. I mean, you would see it. You would see it in like HTML files where we reference links with a dot forward slash. And that means you are referencing a file in that particular folder in that particular part. But with Django, it is not done, or it will not work accordingly. If it will work well in development, but when you push to a production server, because your static files are not served from this static folder itself in your application. In fact, there is a whole tutorial on serving static files during production. I think it should be on this link. We just checked. It should be here when you scroll down. Okay, this is during development, and okay, this is deployment. Okay, this should be it. So there's a whole tutorial on it, serving product and static files in production. And one of the things you shouldn't do is you shouldn't reference it, because when Django copies out all your static files into a new folder, because in production, Django copies all your static files into a new folder. So when doing that, Django actually does not find a path, does not find this path. So what you should do is you should always try to reference the name of the file itself without actually using those that dot forward slash at the start of like the file you're referencing. So I can't do dot forward slash. Let's say I want to call the static file in this Surifly application. Where's the Surifly app? So let's say I'm trying to call this guy. I can't do dot forward slash then Surifly or dot something like this. Just call it directly Surifly forward slash main.css or CSS forward slash main.css, whatever. But don't reference the parts with the dot notation, because Django already knows that with the static file, static templates tag, this static template tag, it is already in this folder. So you should do that. You should not make that mistake. So I think we have I think we've served our static files. Not pass reply from okay, so I'm tempted to try to start that page, but I don't have any design in my head right now. So please, is there any question? I don't mind entertaining questions. So I think I have just 3 people. Please, if you have questions, you can. I'm just going to check the YouTube. Okay. Yeah, actually just thought of talking about static files today. I thought it would be longer than this, but apparently it's not long, and I think everyone understands. So I think I've pretty much touched on most of the things you need to know at this point regarding Django. Is there any other topic Is there any other question? Seems okay, so you can't connect. What can't you connect with? Or what is I think it is I think I followed like I made this like a series or something like that from the time we entered Django. So I think I followed topic by topic. If you have been an avid watcher of the office hours or you've probably been attending the class, you should know that I have followed it. I've used the same projects. I have not touched anything. Most of the errors I get, I solve them accordingly. Um, and there's really nothing else I have done. So I think I followed. So what you should just do is maybe you should just go over the office hours if you can, because I think I made them follow each other. So it was like a series kind of thing. So what don't you understand? Yes, I think. Okay. So if you have anything you don't understand, you can feel free to reach out. Okay. So I think I've seen. I think I've seen the issue with that. I think I missed. Okay, I'm coming. So with the API, um, so I think I need to add site to add everything. So should it's been long I actually checked this should slot related fields. I will go read up on the data again. So, but let's see if it works now. Slash API slash reports. Exactly. I need to know what it should not be. So let me many equals true. This should not be here. It's not compulsory with this here. As long as perhaps um I will check. Oh, it should be name. It should be name. It should be name. Name. Yeah. I just remembered. Just remembered it should be name. So the reason the slot field has to be the field of the foreign key itself. Yeah, I just remembered. So whatever you want to display as what you want to see, whatever you want to see here is what you do. So if I use some color, let's see this. Well, exactly. So name. Yeah. So with that, you get a list of your items. But then there's also something I want to mention. Let's try to add data. Let's try to add data. So let's come here. They're still using this. So if request dots, let's all what let's just copy. I don't have to try to type. Then let's change this to post serializer. Then serializer does valid serializer does save. Okay, so everything should work fine. I will reload. So let's create. Okay. Have I added? Okay, yes, I have. Let's do this. Let's add a new post. For now, this is why I wanted to that. Before I do that, I will create this API / Fireflies. Okay, so sun, let's use this moon. Let's use shadow because it has a color. Come here and do this. Now, the reason why I am doing this is because it's a foreign key reference. So now I would say ID. That's I don't know what's the field in this post. So post has okay ID. ID is 4. Firefly is this. Then message there's then 1, 3. Then let's do this. Let's see if this works. So I would post. Then PO is not defined. Why am I getting the PO is not defined? No, our code. Did I reload the page when I made this code? But we're not supposed to be getting that. So for okay, so message. This is a post by Red Sun. Let's take this out. Let's see. This should work. JSON pass error. Expecting property named enclosed in double quotes. Oh, this is why I like using Postman. Now I have to rewrite everything. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show how you can add foreign key items in the database using your Postman or whatever API testing interface you are using. So for now, we are using the Django API interface, but it's the same process you can use to achieve that goal in, say, in Postman. So we got the error that says we must add something in double quotes. I can't even remember the error, but I think that was what we had. So I'm guessing this is it. Okay, let's see if this works now. So I'll give you an idea of what. Well, that's 9. Okay. Bad request 400. So we are getting an error from this. So what I'm going to do is I'll print in serializer. So there is this what's it called? This property initial data, I think, yeah. Serializer.initial data. So it shows you the initial data before it is run through this is valid check. So I want to know what exactly happened, because I really can't remember after I posted. Then again, I also want to use Postman, but I don't want to start retyping all over again. In the meantime, I'll check if there is any question. Yeah, that's the thing about Django. Django has so many out of the box functionalities that helps you achieve things. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. For me, Postman is golden. So while we are waiting, is there anybody that would like to ask a question? Because most likely after this is after I finish this, we most likely will be ending the class. But we have so very few people and there is no question. Okay, so what routes? Okay, so should be a post request. Then we come to the body, and then we say we'll have to copy out this what Okay, so now take this two out. Okay. So now let's test if this actually works. So I was saying we still get the same error, but now we should be able to get. Okay, so it's not getting here. So I think the issue is coming from the serializer itself. Okay. Expecting property name, which is this, which is not supposed to be so. Oh, right. Oh, oh. Let's take this out. I think that has been why we're having most of our issues. So um let's try it now. Let's see. Expecting PK value on dictionary. Yeah. So obviously we have to pass in this and not the object itself. Normally you're supposed to be able to pass in the objects. I didn't want to pass in the ID of the the firefly itself. So I think I know there's a way to do that. I'll go read up on it again. No longer I've had to do this. Okay, so I believe that is like all what we have for today. I think it's short and we didn't cover much. So is there any question? Okay, so about routers, routers are mostly used with view sets, especially when we are building our APIs. And for you to use the router, you need to use your view set. So you need to call your view sets in your API itself. So I'm coming, let me share Django's REST framework. So if you look at this quick starts, you'd notice that they use routers, but they didn't just use routers with normal API views. They use what we call view sets. So what it does is instead of you specifying the paths or the routes yourself, the router does that for you. So you just have to register it, and the router creates the paths for you. So you can see you have to include the router, you have to register it, but you also have to use a view set. So you don't use your normal API view to put it. So there's a full topic on routers here that you can read through. So we have different type of router. We have simple router, default router. We also have, you can also create our own custom router. So you can read more on it there. Okay, so I believe there is no other question. So no, yes, this is the task-free week. So the project phase is starting next week. So we'll be done with the learning phase this week. So next week is for the project phase. So you'll be building a real world project. So I believe I have covered most of the things you would be needing, or if not all, for the project phase. I think I covered extensively most of the things you would need to build a real life project. So yeah, I think you should be good to go. Sorry, what did you say? Someone asked a question. Sorry, I'm not even scrolled up for a while. Okay, so is this okay? How about to go about serving it? The large line number of files you're serving. Let's say so what if it is a large file or a large number of files you're serving? You still use the same method. I don't think what I did is specific to a small number of files. You can still use the same method. You are going to load it and put it in a folder. So you can have a static folder. So okay, so normally your your application should only house like the static file folder and the template folder in your application should only house the templates and the static file specific to your application. So these templates we have here, we have make post. It should not be in this root templates here. Rather, this make post should be in the posts folder here in your post application. It should be in the template folder in your post application. And then you can have project specific templates and static files, or your project specific templates here, then project specific static files here. So like you based on HTML, your nav bars, your sidebars, your headers, and the rest, footer should be in the root directory templates. Then your project specific templates will be in your app specific templates rather should be in the app folder in the app directory here. So okay, so this question is I don't know how best to answer. I don't think there is anything like more professional. So it depends on your use case, basically. So yeah, you can use your view sets. You can use whichever one you want, but most times because the routers do not give you that freedom to specify your own paths. The router specified paths for you. You can use it if you are unsure about how to design the URL, because designing a URL or a path itself is something that everyone should know. So if you don't know how best to do that, you can allow your routers to that. But if you want to design your URL yourself, then you should probably not use routers. There are so many reasons to not use something, so it depends on your use case and why you are using it. Same way, you can have generic views and your API views, and you can decide which one you want. So it just determines it just depends on your use case, rather. It depends on what you want to do and what you are doing. Okay, so is there any other question? So I guess there is no other question. Is Flask easier? I don't know, to be honest. I have not written Flask before. I think I've just written it once. Okay, so thank you all for joining the office hours today. I hope it's to see everyone. Can you create views for CRUD with routers? I don't know. I have not. I'm coming. Let me see. I have not even thought of it before. To be honest, now that you mentioned it, I have never thought of it. No, you cannot. And that is because routers, I just saw, so routers itself is from the REST underscore framework or the REST framework, this thing itself. So it's for APIs. Yeah, I just saw the library. Most times I just import it without remembering where it's coming from. But it's from the REST framework. So no, you cannot do that. We can't do that with you. And logically speaking, you can't even do it because unlike our APIs have like a simple part, so to speak. You know that you cannot have you cannot retrieve an item with this route. Obviously, you have to pass in like an argument so that you should be able to fetch just one item. The same way you cannot get a list of posts with something like this route. So it's the logic behind creating the or designing our routes is a bit easier, but you can't always have something like this. It's a normal view. And in fact, it's even more complex because sometimes we have what we call query params, where we can pass query parameters to our route, something like a okay, search equals this, something like this. So most times you see a route like this, and Django REST framework allows you to handle this. But I have not tried using routers with query parameters. If you check the API documentation, you would see Django query, Django REST framework query parameters. So you see it filtering. So if you notice, they use the generic this, they didn't use view set. Let me even check if there is view set. They use view set for this because I don't think I've seen a view with view set. You should be able to do it, but most times it's just easier to do it with your generic APIs. So it's not in all use case that you actually use your routers basically. So we should take back. So I would just say you should go read up more on routers. What about makeup tasks? for week 1. I think there was an announcement on the channel. You should go through the announcement channel or the front end channel also. I think it's for front end, not for Python. Yeah. So I think I've said that already. Okay, so thank you all for joining and do have a wonderful evening. I hope to see everyone tomorrow. So I think tomorrow will most likely be our last class. I've pretty much covered everything. And tomorrow's class too might be short if there are no questions like today. So thank you all for joining and do have a lovely evening. Bye.